All right, good evening, everyone. We're coming here from the studio. It's going to look a little bit different tonight. Obviously, we're not on live stream this evening. We are on YouTube because basically our entire building has no internet in terms of the hardware stuff, so we can't use most of our equipment here in the studio this afternoon. But we do have your graphics for you. We will be talking with all of our student meteorologists and a couple of our weathercasting students, and those are the people you haven't seen probably quite yet. You'll see them filtering in here through the door to our studio this afternoon. Coming on in, ready to make their tapes and doing their homework, so don't get too distracted with that. We're going to do our best here. We know that there is a possibility of some severe weather this evening, so we're going to break that down as well as the local weather here. We're going to pass it off to Casey here for the first look at the local.
That's right. Let's go ahead and get right into this. And as we do so, we do see here, in terms of those high temperatures across the area, it did get up toward 56 here in Tallahassee, but in toward Marianna, much cooler, only getting up to 49 degrees there. But kind of going ahead and shifting in toward our weather situation here in terms of the local radar. We do see out toward just to the northwest of Lynn Haven, also Youngstown, Fountain. This is out of our viewing area right now. But again, we're watching it closely here in toward those areas. And again, we do have that severe weather risk that we're monitoring very closely here, kind of breaking this down hour by hour at 8 p.m. according to our forecast model in-house here. It looks like most of our northern counties and including the metro will be having an eye on some of this weather that we'll be watching very closely here. South Georgia, we're also talking about northern Florida, northern Gaston County, northern Leon, and this model by 9 o'clock. Again, this is kind of displaying what looks like a squall line moving through the metro area, and we'll be keeping our eyes on that very closely here in the FSU Weather Center to see if any severe weather does occur. By 2 a.m., though, it'll be all nice and clear, really nice weather conditions here across the Big Bend region. As we get in toward the next couple of days, we'll start to see it clear out. We could still have some lingering showers, though, and we'll monitor that closely across the area. Now, in terms of tonight at 7 p.m., we do see, again, just kind of broadening the view a little bit, that warm front, the key ingredient here to what type of severe weather we could have going to the north. We're watching that closely because areas south of that, that's where our greatest severe weather risk is, because we're watching the potential for some instability in the atmosphere in towards some of those areas. We're talking about Gaston County maybe, but mainly more toward Wakulla, Liberty, and also Franklin County as well. Leon, right on the edge of where we think the worst of the severe weather threat will be. Again, 1 a.m. though, northeast Florida, that low pressure area, cool front, warm front moving away, bringing in nicer weather conditions, watching that snow up to the north as well. And then by 7 a.m., again, we're watching that cool front down in the central South Florida. By Thursday at 1 p.m., again, that cool front over parts of central Alabama, central Georgia as well. But right now, I'll go ahead and send it over to Caitlin with more.
Good evening, Tallahassee. We're looking at a potential severe weather tonight. As you can see, we're looking at 46 degrees, but definitely a 100% chance of rain. The storms will be moving through, but hopefully gone after midnight. You'll see winds moderately moving in around 25 miles per hour. And tomorrow, we're going to have a very wet morning, 20% chance of rain and moderate winds, looking at about 59 degrees in Tallahassee and getting cooler as we move into the north and even a little bit cooler towards the coast. Looking through the week ahead, tomorrow you can see 20% chance of rain, 30 moving in on Friday, and 59 degrees, moving warmer as we get all the way up through the weekend, and even through Wednesday we'll be reaching temperatures around 76 degrees. We're going to throw it over to Tyler.
And I'm going to talk about the southeast because you can really see where the warm temperatures have bisected the region. The warm front is located mainly across and to the south of I-10, and that's where the best chance of severe weather is later tonight, because that warm air will clash with the cool air and create instability, which will then create a more violent thunderstorm. But up towards the north, Atlanta, Georgia, Huntsville, Alabama, Birmingham, Anniston, those areas are experiencing a snowstorm. Several roadways and classes are canceled up in those areas. But we're not going to see any frozen precipitation, just a lot of rain, about 1 to 2 inches. You can see the current relative humidity around the region is getting higher, mainly to our west, and that's where the most moisture is. That'll be moving in overnight. That's why we're going to be seeing about 1 to 2 inches of rain around the region, along with the squall line. The squall line will come in tonight, but as that does so, it will take all the warm air, because the warm front will only be around for a short amount of time and push it to the south and east, replacing cooler conditions tonight. We're going in with a low around 45 degrees, which is right where we should be for this time of year, although that is a little unusual with the rain around. The fact that we're usually in the 50s when it gets in the rain. Tomorrow will be kind of like today, a little bit warmer because we won't have all the rain around. Temperatures will be around 60, maybe the upper 50s, north of I-10. And the snowstorm that's up in the deep south region, in the mid-south region of Tupelo, Mississippi, Nashville, Tennessee, that will move off the Carolina coastline. And temperatures will actually moderate as we go into the weekend. As Catherine said before, the front isn't going to be moving too far to the south, so we won't be seeing that much of a cool down. But what we will be seeing is a continued small rain chance. The rain chance is not going to be anything like it was tonight. Temperatures will be in the low 60s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then will moderate into the upper 70s quite warm Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But right now, we're going to send it off to Ulysses to talk about the next segment.
All right. Thanks, Tyler. As we look at our next segment, we're going to talk about today's temperatures. We're pretty much below average for this time of the year, thanks to all that cloud cover and all those showers coming through the area. 49 in Marianna, 56 in the capital city. And those temperatures are pretty much going to stay about the same going into tomorrow once the front goes through. As we look at that radar, you notice a lot of that precipitation, the rain, just above that warm front over southern Alabama, southern Georgia, and even to South Carolina. But you do notice a lot of that snow extending from northern Georgia into Mississippi. So already snow days have already occurred in Mississippi and even Alabama today, and even some mixed precipitation just to the north of Birmingham. So just be careful, especially towards the northern portion of those states if you're going to take any drives. As we look into our future cast, most of the heavy activity for us in the Big Bend will occur as early as 8 p.m., and that will go into our evening hours. There is an isolated threat of some severe weather, especially mostly winds coming into our area. And as we go into 9 o'clock, that will pretty much be the bullseye of when all the heavy rain will be over us. We've pretty much been bombarded with a lot of rain so far this winter, but the good news is by the time we go to 2 a.m. on Thursday, the cloud cover will be over us, and that rain will be towards the northeastern portion of the state heading towards Jacksonville. And what to expect for the next 24 hours, that warm front is going to be pretty much right on top of us, and that pretty much will be the ingredient needed just for that instability and all that moisture for those severe weather possibilities. The snow towards northern Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi, and that's going to retreat towards the Carolinas by 1 a.m. The rain towards the coast of the Carolinas by the time we go into 1 a.m., extending into northeastern Florida. And by the time we wake up tomorrow, those clouds will continue to decrease as we go gradually into our Thursday. And the next front comes in on later on in the afternoon just to reinforce that cool air that will continue into our Friday. And now we're going to send it over to Jonathan as he takes a closer look of our next graphics. Yeah, this cool front is really going to be out of our hair. This is probably the biggest thing we're going to talk about for most of the week, although it's going to be warm this weekend up into the mid-70s this weekend. Again, this rain is going to be the biggest thing we're going to talk about probably over the next couple of days. There is a slight risk for some severe weather during the overnight hours, mainly before the midnight hours, except for maybe Taylor and Madison counties tonight. That rain is already starting to fall just off towards our west. There were some hail reports up towards our north, but nothing down in the Big Bend region so far. Lightning and thunder will be heard probably mainly across our coastal counties through this evening, occurring starting around 7 or 8 o'clock this evening, and then going through about 11 o'clock or midnight as this moves from the west towards the east. Again, a slight threat of some localized high winds greater than 60 miles per hour and some of those strongest storms, and maybe an isolated tornado. The best threat for that isolated tornado, again, down towards the south, but the Storm Prediction Center is keeping us abreast of what is looking for the possibility of some tornadoes. They have said that there will be about a 60% chance of a possible tornado watch for the western half of our region west of Tallahassee. That would also include East Point, Apalachicola, Wilma, and up into Decatur County as well, as this warm front and the more moist air, the warmer air comes up towards the north as this low pressure system moves into our region. We're watching that up to the minute here. No tornado watch has been issued so far, but we are watching that here in the studio. We will continue to watch that here over the next few hours. But for tonight, though, we're going to be dropping again. We're going to say the temperatures are going to stay pretty steady through the evening hours until this rain really gets out of our hair, and then the clouds will begin to break up as we get closer to sunrise. But for now, 100% chance of rain through at least midnight for most of us here, and then tapering off thereafter. But watch out for those winds gusting upwards of 25 miles per hour in some of those strongest storms. We could gusting upwards of 60, maybe 70 miles per hour, again, only in the strongest storms. So maybe 1 or 2% of you will see that strongest activity. Those lows by sunrise around 45 degrees during the overnight hours. And then tomorrow we're looking warmer, not quite warm, but warmer than we were today at 59 degrees here in Tallahassee, 57 degrees in Carabel, 57 in Apalachicola. Winds will become a little bit calmer. They're going to switch overnight to out of the northwest direction, switching to northeast in advance of our next system, which will be a few days down the line. Wet morning for mainly our eastern zones, and then that cold front comes down towards the south. Don't let all these rain chances worry you. Plenty of sunshine still in the forecast. Again, 20% chance of rain for most days. The warmer air arrives on Monday and Tuesday, looking at possibly some 80s as we head into the early parts of next week, mainly in Georgia and north of I-10. And then look at those lows, actually where we're sitting at for highs by Monday. So we were sitting, our high today was 56 degrees. Our low for Monday, 55 degrees. And then getting a little bit warmer as we get into the end of next week. But we will be watching that severe weather here across the Big Bend region. Going to be about an hour out from now. And then looking into the eastern parts of our region, we're going to be talking about 10, 11, 12 o'clock by the end of the week. We've got basically a full cast here, including some of our weathercasting students here in the studio. They'll be making some progress doing their homework here and getting everything prepared for their careers in the future. But for us now, we're going to be talking about those rain chances that are starting to accumulate here in the Big Bend region. And then I just really want to thank everyone that's been here. We have about, I guess, 15 people here in the studio tonight on a very hectic day. The last couple of days have been training days here for us here at FSU Weather. And today was none the same. I pretty much learned how everything could go wrong. I think that really went for everyone here. We kind of were on the fly. Donovan's here kind of sitting on the side here. He was the team leader. He was in training today, and he did a stellar job here. But again, I just want to re-emphasize the point. We'll be watching that severe weather here on Facebook, Twitter, and on YouTube. If we have to break in here on YouTube again, we will do that over the next couple of hours. But for now, have a great night, stay dry, and stay safe.